we took the stock head unit in my fiance's 2020 Subaru Crosstrek and replaced it with a 9.7-inch touchscreen head unit with wireless Apple CarPlay. One of the annoying things about this vehicle in particular is that it's 2020 and it doesn't have wireless Apple CarPlay, so that's something that she really wanted. So I figured, hey, we do these Apple CarPlay install videos a lot. Why not do one for her Crosstrek and see if there's other people out there that might benefit from this? So one of the things that I wanted to do differently in this video is more so go over the actual unit itself rather doing a full install video. I did record some of the install, so I'll throw that B-roll up. I'll talk a little bit about it here in the beginning, but I wanted to keep the focus on this head unit itself, go over some of the features and some of the little things here and there. There's nothing too spectacular like a crazy new iPad or something like that. It's pretty much just an Android tablet plugged into your vehicle. Makes life a little bit easier, makes the screen a lot bigger, like almost the size of like a Tesla or something like that. But it's a nice head unit and should amplify or kind of bring your vehicle to kind of the later years, right, with wireless Apple CarPlay, or if you don't even have Apple CarPlay, it's a nice to have, right? So first things first, when installing this, it's very, very simple. It's probably one of the more simple installs than the other Apple CarPlay head units that we've done in the past, or Android Auto. It's really just these two vents on the side. These pop out, there's clips, there's no screws or anything to get those out. Pop those out, then there's one little hood clip that's down in, they're kind of plugged in down in back. You kind of have to use a nice angle to get that one out, but once you have those out, it's 4 screws, 2 on the sides, 2 up top. And once you pull those out, then you reveal all of the wiring and everything like that. And then it's just plug and play at that point, depending on what kind of vehicle you have. So if you have Starlink and all that kind of stuff in the background, you might need to reorganize those modules to get everything fitted properly. But other than that, depending on if you have Harman Kardon or different things like that, you will plug in different connectors based on that whole system. Whether you want to do 4G LTE, you want the GPS tracking on here, or if you just plan on using Apple CarPlay, that's what she chose here. They have that capability as well. Okay, so let's jump into this a little bit. So Apple CarPlay is pretty standard. If you used Apple CarPlay or Android Auto in the past, you know, hey, the functionality is simple, pulls up my apps that are available when driving. And I can do all that here. So I don't want to spend too much time there. I just want to show you some of the nice to haves if you have a Subaru Crosstrek and you're used to this tiny screen that you might have there. Now you've got this big screen, so a full display of like Apple Maps or Google Maps or whatever it might be. Giant buttons if you need to call somebody there on the keypad, boom, boom, boom. And then there's all your applications there. So we've got Pandora, Spotify, you can listen to all that if you're not too familiar with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Then the nice thing to have when you have your Apple CarPlay or your Android Auto displayed here is this little section down here. This is pretty much where you can adjust the volume. I've got video playing in the background, so I won't put that audio on too much. But you don't have that knob anymore, so you can adjust everything here, or you still can use the controls on your steering wheel. When you install this, it's hit or miss. This one connected right away, but not too sure if it's going to be the same result for you. I'll show you how to connect everything to your steering wheel in just a second. When we installed this, the steering wheel controls worked perfectly. There was no issues with any of that, but I'll show you how to navigate that in just a second. Another thing to note when installing this is that it does come with a microphone. This microphone is clear. I got feedback that it is a little tinny. That's okay. If you wanted to add like the external microphone that comes in the kit, it's really just another plug-in on the back, and then you can reroute the wire to wherever you need, somewhere else on the vehicle, behind the steering wheel, up on top where your mirror is or your sun visor. But it's very, very simple to do there. Okay, so let's jump into the actual head unit itself. So we're going to hit the home screen so that you can tell this is very Android-y. It's an Android system, kind of like an Android tablet. So you've got all the Androidiness going on here. When you install it, you'll also notice the time might be off right here. So I've got 9:04 a.m. I've got 9:04 a.m. up there, which seems to be synced. When we put this in, the times change. So you'll just need to edit those settings within the head unit the same way you would do it on your stock one. Your mileage or your amount till empty readout might change. Don't worry about that. Turn off your car, turn it back on, or reset the system. It'll sync up and get you all sorted. Okay, so let's go into this actual system. So it's a pretty cool display right here up front. We've got our time. This is kind of like our radio going on in the background. If you listen to the radio, you can hear that going there. We've got our navigation. So if you do choose to install navigation with the actual head unit itself, you can just use that instead of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So that is an option if you wanted to do that. Your radio is right here, so you can go through all the stations there, pretty standard. We've got all of our applications, which we'll roll through in just a moment. We've got music, so if you have like your SD card or anything plugged in here, you can play music. And then finally, there's video. Be aware, there's some pre-installed videos here from factory, because these are made overseas, so this is all good for testing. Okay, so that's pretty much the basis of this home screen. So let's jump into the apps. Okay, so here we are on the app screen. Now, if you wanted to navigate quickly through everything before we jump into the applications, you can just really click this. It's kind of similar to an iPhone or an Android, where you can go through the different screens that you've been. So we won't do that now. We'll go back to our apps and kind of run through that here. So if you do install this and you find that your steering wheel controls aren't working, you can just hit control right there. And it's very simple instructions. Please press the button of the original steering wheel. So you'll press the button and then hold it, and then you'll be able to sync those together. So it's very simple when it comes to setting up those controls. One thing I do want to point out, when you first jump in here, I'm not remembering off the top of my head where exactly it is, but the, oh, here we go, sound. So when you first install this, this is extremely annoying, might not be annoying to you, but this is turned on, keypad tone. Every time you press, it's going to make a noise, and it's extremely annoying. So if you want to turn that off, it's right there. Then you can mess with all your sound settings, display settings as well. So if you want to change the wallpaper or anything like that, you can do that here if you have those pre-installed wallpapers. But settings are pretty standard. To connect to Wi-Fi, that's also here in the settings. And I'll show you why you'll want to connect to Wi-Fi in just a second. Brake wire for video and motion, so we'll probably want that installed. So we have our wires when we hit the backup camera. And then other various settings on here, which we don't need to dive too far into because everybody's going to do it differently. The one thing that I do want to point out here is at the very top here to adjust your date and time. You can do that by hitting this one in the settings. So if we go back to applications here, another key thing to point out is it comes pre-installed with YouTube, probably where you're watching this right now. So when you go into YouTube here, the nice thing is, I'm not connected to the internet right now, but the nice thing is that when you have a video displaying, like we have Karma Speed right here, we can actually minimize this video. And if I was on internet and I hit home screen and I went around to different applications within the head unit itself, that little display that you're seeing in the bottom right hand corner will follow you around, and you could expand this and shrink this and put it wherever you want on the screen. That way you could be playing this video while doing other things, while you're waiting in the parking lot or whatever it might be, right? So the other cool thing about this is that it is an actual like Android tablet. So you can get access to the Play Store as long as you're on Wi-Fi or your hotspot or whatever it might be. You can download applications, games, all this kind of stuff that a passenger can play while they're sitting around waiting, or on a road trip or something along those lines. I definitely would not recommend playing like Flappy Birds or something like that while you're driving along. I don't even think that's an application anymore, but I wouldn't recommend it. But anyways, you can do cool things like that. And then the very last piece here is just your Apple CarPlay. The only thing that you have to do to get connected is connect your Bluetooth or connect via USB, and then you just hit CarLink 2.0. I'm not connected right now, but it'll verify and start connecting your device. I think this is actually connecting to my fiance's phone, which let's not do that. She could be listening to music. But anyways, it's a very intuitive, very nice system and a good upgrade, especially if you have a Crosstrek that does not have wireless Apple CarPlay. here's a great reason to get a bigger touchscreen just for wireless Apple CarPlay in the future. If you want to grab one of these, we left a link down in the description. We do have a lot of these, so if you have a WRX or Forester or Silverado or whatever it might be, you can grab those down below. It's free shipping. And let us know, hey, do you like these kind of videos where we actually go over the head unit, because everyone's a little bit different, or do you prefer the install? And then let us know if you'd like to see an install or an update or whatever it might be when it comes to these units in a different car or a car that we've done in the past. So let us know down in the comments if you want to grab one of these. The link is in the description. You can grab one of those. And if you run into any issues whatsoever, don't freak out. All these are very different. Your car, there's a bunch of different models, trims, all this kind of stuff that are very different. If you run into any issues with the install or something might not be matching up correctly, just shoot us an email, support@karmaspeed.com. We'd be more than happy to help you out. For example, one of the common things that we see is that somebody might forget to let us know that they have the Harman Kardon sound system upgrade in here that requires an extra module. That's completely okay. Just shoot us an email, just let them know, hey, I forgot this, or hey, this didn't come in my package. Even though I selected it, mistakes happen. And we'll ship that over to you for free. That way you can get on your way, get that installed, and get ready to go. But figured a video like this would be a lot nicer to go through all of the different aspects of the system itself, because a lot of people will grab these and just take it to their local shop and have them install it. So it'd be good to have a video that has us going through all the different pieces when it comes to, or all the different capabilities when it comes to the actual head unit itself. So let us know down in the comments below what you want to see next, and talk soon. Thanks.